Your relationship with time is such a key component of your life because when you get caught in a routine, time goes so quickly. And if you want to truly, get as much experientially out of life, it just creates a tremendous amount of urgency. So the fear goes away because you're like, shit, man, no one's going to be here in 100 years. Do I care what he thinks that we're not going to be here in 100 years. So why wouldn't I take the chance? There's not a day that goes by when my head hits the pillow where I don't say to myself, did I maximize the day? And, am I aware of my mortality? And it might sound depressing, but it's not. For me, it's thrilling. We invest so much time in our work resume, which is important, but I think it's equally, if not more important, to build your life resume because that's really an indication of who you are and what you're becoming. I lived on a monastery with 8 monks, 4 of which have been there for 50 years. I went there for 15 days. I think, the obvious takeaways were just the simplicity, how the monks live is something I think everyone can benefit from. I realize you're gonna miss your family and your kids and your friends and some of the comforts. I didn't want to give away some of the comforts, but you also realize how much time I spend and worry I spend on things that are irrelevant. And when I released that, I got so insanely creative. I had so much energy because thoughts, worry, all that, it's exhausting. I remember when I came home, I said to my wife, we were doing carpool with our kids, and she was gonna take, we have 2 cars, and she's like, I think I'm gonna take the blue car. I'm like, cool. And then she came back and she's like, I'm gonna take the silver car. I'm like, okay, sweetie, take the silver car. And then she came back 30 seconds later, she's like, you know what? I wanna be able to park it, I'm gonna take the blue car. But it happens all day long, and you don't even realize how much energy you use on at the monastery, all the decisions are taken away. So what you eat whatever they give you. What you wear, nobody can. I changed once. I took 1 shower. So I left there incredibly energized. And I surrendered a lot of things in my life that I didn't realize, are time zappers. And that might sound obvious, you went to a monastery and you realized, but it wasn't about meditation, it wasn't about religion or spirituality. It was just about simplifying and prioritizing and realizing I already know what's important to me, but realizing to eliminate some of the things that really aren't important to me, taking away those precious hours. And the monastery that I went to, they were the largest breeders of German Shepherds. And I remember my job the first day was to be a distractor. So they were training one of the dogs and I had to run in front of the dog and try to get him off of his game to simulate traffic in the city or distraction. And the goal is to have the dog be able to walk unblemished, no matter what you throw at him. And I was going crazy. I was running at him. I was and the dog didn't waver. It just walked from point A to point B. And one of the monks that was training the dog said to me, it's no different than life. You're gonna get distracted from your goals and all these arrows are gonna come at you all the time. But the same way this dog goes from point A to point B, even if there's a pork chop there, whatever your goal is, you have to get there. Even though people are gonna say you can't do it, even though people are gonna throw different opportunities, I'm sure your friends went out 1,000,000 times to happy hour when you had to stay late when you were starting your business. I was in the same situation. Those are the distractions that come at you. But to get to your goal, you can't go to happy hour every night. You have to return emails and you have to check the manufacturer and you have to check the inventory and you have to make sales calls. So I was getting these lessons, but being around the best at what they do, it was just impossible to not have an appreciation and respect, even though I'm older now and I've had some success and failure, but I still have a lot of arrows that come at me all the time. Requests for my time, challenges at work, challenges raising kids. Being in a marriage, is not easy. We have a great marriage, but it's not easy work and it's overwhelming. So for me, I think part of it is always having something big on my calendar that I can look forward to. Every other month, I try to put something on my calendar for a weekend that I can really look forward to. So it helps me get through the tough times. And I like to have at least one really big challenge a year that kind of centers me and keeps me honest.